Hello, friends and little adventurers. It's me, Anna, and today we're going on an out-of-this-world adventure through the solar system. Buckle up, because we're going to visit all the planets, from the scorching hot Mercury to the icy, faraway Neptune. We'll learn cool things like why Mars is called the red planet, how Jupiter is so big it could fit 1,000 Earths inside it, and what it's like to fly through Saturn's rings. Oh, and we'll discover where water might exist out there in space, just like how water on Earth moves from clouds to rivers and back to the sky. Are you ready for our virtual space adventure? Let's explore the universe together. First of all, let's talk about the star at the center of it all, the Sun. The Sun is like the big boss of our solar system. It's a giant ball of hot, glowing gas that gives us light and warmth. Without the Sun, there wouldn't be life on Earth. The Sun is so big that over 1 million Earths could fit inside it, and it's always burning bright, keeping our planet warm and helping plants grow. The Sun is about 93 million miles away from us, but we still feel its heat and see its light every day. Did you know the Sun has its own storms? They're called solar flares, and they send energy shooting out into space. The Sun also has something called sunspots, which are cooler spots on its surface. Even though the Sun is a star, it's much closer to us than any other star in the night sky. It's the heart of our solar system. First stop, Mercury. This tiny planet is closest to the Sun, making it super hot during the day, but did you know it gets freezing at night? Temperatures can swing from 800 degrees Fahrenheit during the day to minus 330 degrees at night. That's because Mercury doesn't have an atmosphere to keep the heat in. It's also the smallest planet, just a bit bigger than our moon. Another cool thing is that Mercury zips around the Sun really fast. Its year is only 88 days long. That means if you lived there, you'd have a birthday every 3 months. Its surface looks a lot like our moon, with craters made by space rocks crashing into it. But don't pack your bags, Mercury isn't a place we could live. There's no air or water, and the Sun's radiation would be too strong. Still, it's an amazing planet to visit in our imaginations. Next up, Venus, the second planet from the Sun and the hottest in our solar system. Even though it's farther from the Sun than Mercury, Venus has a thick atmosphere made of clouds that trap heat. These clouds are made of sulfuric acid. The surface is like a scorching oven, with temperatures hot enough to melt metal. And guess what? A day on Venus lasts longer than a year. Venus spins super slowly, so one full spin takes 243 Earth days, while it only takes 225 Earth days to go around the Sun. Venus is also pretty strange because it spins in the opposite direction of most planets. So, on Venus, the Sun rises in the west and sets in the east. Even though Venus is sometimes called Earth's twin because they're about the same size, it's definitely not a place where we could live. But it's fun to imagine flying through those crazy clouds. Now we're on Earth, our home sweet home. Earth is the third planet from the Sun, and it's the only one we know of that has life. That's because Earth is in the Goldilocks zone, not too hot, not too cold, but just right for life. It has water in 3 forms, liquid in rivers and oceans, ice in the polar caps, and water vapor in the atmosphere. We've got an atmosphere full of oxygen to breathe, which also protects us from the Sun's harmful rays. Our planet is covered in amazing landscapes, mountains, forests, deserts, and oceans. Earth also has seasons because it's tilted on its axis as it goes around the Sun. Fun fact, 70% of Earth's surface is covered in water, which is why it's sometimes called the blue planet. Earth is the perfect place for plants, animals, and us to live. It's a unique planet in our solar system. Next, we're zooming over to Mars, the red planet. Mars gets its red color from iron in the soil, just like rust. Even though it's smaller than Earth, it has some incredible features, like the tallest volcano in the solar system, Olympus Mons, which is about 3 times taller than Mount Everest. Mars also has the longest canyon, Valles Marineris, which is about 10 times longer than the Grand Canyon. Even though it's cold and dry now, scientists think Mars used to have rivers and oceans a long time ago. They're even looking for signs of ancient life there. Mars has polar ice caps like Earth, but instead of just water, they're made of frozen carbon dioxide or dry ice. Right now, Mars is being explored by rovers, which are robots that drive around and send pictures and data back to Earth. Maybe one day, humans will live there in special habitats. Hold on tight, because here comes Jupiter, the biggest planet in our solar system. Jupiter is so huge that over 1,300 Earths could fit inside it. It's a gas giant, meaning it doesn't have a solid surface like Earth. It's mostly made of hydrogen and helium. The most famous feature on Jupiter is the Great Red Spot, which is a giant storm that's been raging for over 300 years. This storm is so big that Earth could fit inside it twice. Jupiter also has at least 79 moons, and some of them, like Europa, might even have oceans under their icy surfaces. And did you know Jupiter has rings, too? They're just faint and made of dust, not as flashy as Saturn's. With its swirling clouds, massive size, and powerful magnetic field, Jupiter is like the king of the planets. But watch out, it's full of extreme winds and storms. Here comes Saturn, the planet with the most famous rings. Saturn's rings are made of ice and rock, and they're thousands of miles wide. But even though they're so huge, the rings are actually very thin, only about 30 feet thick in some places. Saturn is another gas giant, mostly made of hydrogen and helium, just like Jupiter. And even though Saturn is the second largest planet in our solar system, it's so light that if there were a big enough ocean, Saturn would float in it. Saturn also has at least 146 moons, and one of the most interesting is Titan, which has lakes and rivers made of liquid methane. Scientists think Titan could be one of the best places to look for life in the future. Saturn's beautiful rings and fascinating moons make it one of the coolest places to visit on our solar system adventure. Next stop, Uranus, the planet that spins on its side. Most planets spin like a top, but Uranus is tilted almost completely over, so it rolls around the sun like a ball. Scientists think this happened because something big crashed into it long ago. Uranus is an ice giant, made mostly of icy materials like water, ammonia, and methane. The methane in its atmosphere gives it that blue-green color. It's also super cold, with temperatures reaching -370 degrees Fahrenheit. Uranus has faint rings like Jupiter and Saturn, but they're harder to see. It also has 27 known moons, and many of them are named after characters from Shakespeare's plays. Uranus takes a long time to go around the sun. 1 year on Uranus is about 84 Earth years. So if you lived there, you'd have to wait a long time for your next birthday. Now we're at Neptune, the farthest planet from the sun. Neptune is another ice giant, similar to Uranus, and it's known for its beautiful blue color, which comes from methane in its atmosphere. But don't be fooled by its calm appearance. Neptune has the fastest winds in the solar system, blowing up to 1,200 miles per hour. That's faster than a jet plane. Neptune has 14 known moons, and the largest one, Triton, is covered in ice volcanoes that spew frozen material into the air. Neptune is super cold because it's so far from the sun, and it takes 165 Earth years to orbit the sun just once. That means a year on Neptune is longer than a person's whole lifetime. Even though it's cold and stormy, Neptune is a fascinating planet full of mysteries. Last but not least, we're visiting Pluto. Even though it's not officially considered a planet anymore, Pluto is still a special part of our solar system. Pluto is a dwarf planet, meaning it's smaller than the other planets. In fact, it's smaller than Earth's moon. Pluto has a rocky surface covered in ice, and it's super cold because it's so far from the sun. It takes 248 Earth years for Pluto to make one trip around the sun. Pluto also has 5 moons, and its largest one, Charon, is almost half the size of Pluto itself. Together, they form a double dwarf planet system, orbiting around each other. Even though Pluto is small and far away, it's full of surprises, and it reminds us that our solar system is an exciting place full of wonders. Wow, what an amazing adventure we just had! We traveled all the way from the fiery heat of Mercury to the icy cold of Pluto, discovering so many cool facts about our solar system along the way. Every planet is so different and full of surprises, right? From giant storms on Jupiter to the beautiful rings of Saturn, there's always something exciting out there in space. And remember, even though we're just tiny compared to the universe, we live on a pretty special planet called Earth. It's our home, and it's just the right place for life like you and me. Thanks for coming on this space adventure with me. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, and who knows what other amazing things we'll discover next time. Until then, keep dreaming big, little astronauts. See you soon. Bye.